Buckingham Palace, the heart of royal tradition and ceremony, bustled with tourists from around the world. The changing of the guard was about to begin, a spectacle that drew crowds eager to witness the precision and pageantry. Among the sea of faces stood Sergeant Collins, a seasoned guardsman known for his unwavering discipline. His tall frame and stoic posture embodied the pride of the regiment. But today, amidst the cheers and clicking cameras, something caught his eye: a small girl, no older than 8, her face shadowed with fresh bruises. Her name was Ella. She was being dragged roughly through the crowd by a burly man, her supposed stepfather, Mr. Grant. The child's clothes were rumpled, and her large, frightened eyes darted around as if searching for an escape. Every time Ella stumbled, Mr. Grant yanked her harder, muttering harsh words under his breath. No one else seemed to notice. People were too busy filming the guards, laughing, and snapping photos. But Sergeant Collins noticed, though bound by strict rules never to break formation. His instincts as a soldier and as a human being stirred. Then it happened. As Ella was jerked forward again, she lifted her small hand and traced an invisible pattern in the air. An S followed by an O and another SN. It was subtle, but to Collins, it was unmistakable. A silent cry for help. The air grew heavy around the palace gates. Collins' grip on his rifle tightened. Protocol dictated that he remain motionless, indifferent to the world around him. But what he saw wasn't just a child in distress, it was a desperate plea that demanded action. And in that moment, Sergeant Collins made a decision that would change both their lives forever. Sergeant Collins took a breath, the weight of centuries of tradition pressing on his shoulders. But duty to the vulnerable outweighed duty to ceremony. With deliberate steps, he broke formation and moved so rare it caused gasps to ripple through the crowd. His tall, imposing figure cut through the sea of onlookers as he approached Mr. Grant and the trembling girl, Ella. "Sir, I must ask you to stop," Collins said, his voice calm but edged with authority. Grant sneered. "Mind your own business, soldier. This is my girl. I'll handle her as I see fit." But Collins' sharp eyes had already noted the fading bruises, the way Ella flinched at every movement. His heart pounded, but his training kept his voice steady. "This child is in distress. I cannot stand by." The crowd, once busy with cameras and chatter, grew quiet. Phones were raised, not to film the guards this time, but to capture this unfolding confrontation. The tension crackled in the summer air. Grant's face darkened. "You overstepping, mate. She's my stepdaughter. You got no right." He gripped Ella's arm tighter, making the girl wince. At that moment, 2 palace security officers appeared, alerted by Collins' breach of protocol. Officer Reynolds, a woman with keen eyes, quickly assessed the scene. She stepped between Grant and Collins. "We've received reports of possible child endangerment. Sir, release the child." Grant's grip loosened just a fraction, but his mouth twisted in fury. "She's lying. Kids fall all the time. She's clumsy, that's all." Ella's eyes met Collins', pleading silently. That look hardened the sergeant's resolve. "You will release her," Collins said, now flanked by security. His voice carried the weight of his regiment, but his gaze never left Ella, a silent vow passing between them. As the officers moved in to separate Grant from the girl, the crowd erupted, some cheering, others recording. The centuries-old walls of Buckingham Palace had witnessed many things, but today they saw an act of courage that broke from tradition. Grant was restrained, his protests growing louder as he was led away. Ella, free from the harsh grip, stood trembling but safe, and Collins, he stood firm, knowing that sometimes breaking formation is the only way to do what's right. Inside the quiet room of the palace's security office, Ella sat on a cushioned chair, her small hands wrapped tightly around a paper cup of hot chocolate. The warmth barely reached the chill that had settled deep in her bones. Across from her, Officer Reynolds spoke in soft tones, careful not to startle her. "You're safe now, Ella. No one here will hurt you," she assured, her eyes kind but serious. But Ella's gaze kept flickering to the door, as if fearing that Grant might burst back in at any moment. Years of fear had taught her to trust no promise of safety. Sergeant Collins stood near the wall, his towering presence strangely comforting to the girl. His ceremonial bearskin cap had been set aside, revealing close-cropped dark hair and sharp features that now softened with concern. Collins had faced many drills, many parades, but watching this girl struggle to believe she was safe gripped something deep inside him. Ella finally whispered, "He said no one would believe me, that they'd send me back because no one else wants me." Collins' jaw tightened. He stepped forward, lowering himself to Ella's level. "I believed you, sweetheart. And I always will," he said simply, his voice steady and full of quiet conviction. Those words cracked through the walls Ella had built. Her shoulders relaxed, just a little, and for the first time, she met Colin's eyes without flinching. Officer Reynolds took careful notes. Ella's injuries will be documented, and multiple witnesses from the crowd have come forward. We'll ensure Grant faces the consequences. But the girl's face clouded again. Where will I go now? He said foster homes are bad, that no one wants kids like me. Collins felt the weight of that question. In that moment, a decision formed solid and unshakable. There might be another option, he said, turning to Reynolds. I am certified through the regiment's family program as an emergency foster parent. I'd like to take responsibility for Ella. And, if she agrees, I want to begin adoption proceedings. The room went still. Ella's eyes widened, disbelief warring with a fragile hope. You want me, even though you don't know me. Colin smiled faintly. I know enough. I know you're brave, and I know that sometimes family finds you when you least expect it. Tears welled up in Ella's eyes, but this time, they weren't from fear. The hours passed slowly, but for the first time, Ella wasn't counting them in fear. She sat beside Sergeant Collins in the quiet medical room of Buckingham Palace, where a nurse gently cleaned the bruises on her arms. The stinging antiseptic didn't bother her much, not compared to the storm of feelings inside. Collins had stayed right there, never leaving her side. You came back. Ella said quietly, her voice still scratchy from crying earlier. Collins turned toward her, his expression softening. I told you I would, and when I make a promise, I keep it. That's part of who we are in the regiment. Ella looked down at her hands, struggling to believe. Grant, always said people lie. That they say nice things, but then they change their minds. Collins knelt to meet her gaze directly. I won't change my mind. You've been through enough, love. You deserve to feel safe, to have a home where no one ever raises a hand against you. The word home felt strange to Ella. For years, it had meant cold rooms, harsh words, and fear. But when Collins said it, it felt different. It felt like something she could maybe believe in. Officer Reynolds returned, paperwork in hand. Sergeant Collins has officially filed for emergency foster placement. You'll be leaving with him today, Ella. And he's also started the adoption application. Ella's mouth fell open. Adoption? You really mean it? Collins smiled, a little choked up, but hiding it well. I mean it. I want you to be part of my family. It won't always be easy. I've never been a dad before. But I'll learn. And I promise, you'll never have to look over your shoulder again. For the first time in what felt like forever, Ella's face lit up with a small, real smile. Not the fake one she used to survive, but something genuine that even reached her eyes. I'd like that, she whispered. I'd like that very much. Collins reached out, and Ella didn't flinch this time. Their hands met, and in that simple gesture, a new chapter quietly began. A chapter built on trust, safety, and the promise of family. Later that afternoon, the grand gates of Buckingham Palace slowly opened. Sergeant Collins, now in plain clothes, but still carrying the unmistakable posture of a soldier, stepped outside. Beside him, holding his hand tightly, was Ella. Gone was the trembling girl from earlier now, though still cautious. There was a spark of something new in her eyes, hope. As they walked down the stone steps, Ella glanced up at Collins. So, where are we going? Collins gave her hand a reassuring squeeze. Home, love. To your new home. Ella repeated the word under her breath, home, testing how it felt on her tongue. This time, it didn't carry fear. It carried promise. Around them, tourists still bustled, many unaware of the life-changing event that had just occurred inside those palace walls. A few who had witnessed the earlier confrontation watched silently, some even smiling as they recognized the pair. Collins led Ella to a modest car park nearby. It's not a palace, he chuckled, but it's warm, and there's a proper meal waiting for you, and a room that's yours, only yours. Ella's grip tightened again, but this time, it wasn't from fear, it was from the overwhelming feeling of safety beginning to settle in. Thank you, she whispered. As they drove off, the palace fading behind them, Collins glanced at the girl in the passenger seat. This is just the start, Ella. A fresh chapter. And I swear, we'll write it together. Now, dear viewers, let me ask you this. What would you have done if you were in Sergeant Collins' shoes? Would you have had the courage to step beyond duty and change your life? Every day, children like Ella give quiet signals, hoping someone notices. Learning to recognize those signs can make you the hero in someone's story. If this story touched your heart, please like this video, subscribe to our channel, and share it with someone who believes in protecting the vulnerable no matter the cost. Your support helps us bring more real and inspiring stories like this to light. And don't forget, click the bell icon so you never miss out on our latest uploads. Check out the videos appearing on your screen now, each one a powerful reminder of what true service and courage really mean. We'll be back tomorrow with another story that might just restore your faith in humanity.